Doris Hazard Cordell is back here with us. And Judge, let's get to that in a moment. But first, on this pre-sentencing report, typically a convicted defendant would meet one-on-one with a probation officer without their attorney there. What do you make of this decision and how much Trump's other cases could factor into this?
Thank you for having me on, KAITLAN. So it is unusual, but not uncommon, for a person who has been convicted of a crime to have a lawyer with that person. And usually it's a person who has enough money to pay for a lawyer to come sit for all the time it takes to do the interview. But understand, this is a pre-sentence report, as you said. Sentencing, when it comes before the judge, basically has three goals. The judge has to decide a punishment on punishment, decide on whether or not the sentence can be rehabilitative, and also deter the person from engaging in the conduct again and deter others from engaging in that kind of conduct. So in order to do it, the judge needs to know as much as possible about the defendant and also about those who were impacted, the victims. So that's why we have this pre-sentence report, and the probation officer is tasked with doing this. So one major section in a probation report is a statement from the defendant. And that's a big one. Mm-hmm. And that's a time where the defendant can talk about the crime and talk about remorse and contrition. That's what generally they want to do when they want to get a favorable or a lenient sentence from the judge. This is a whole different can of worms here. So it's going to be very interesting what Donald Trump says at this probation interview. His lawyer may instruct him to say nothing at all. Why? Well, one is because Donald Trump tends to become unhinged and could really say things that really, really poorly impact him in front of the judge. And also, it could be because Donald Trump is facing some other cases, other charges, and what he says there could be used against him in other proceedings. So that's why this lawyer is going to be there, basically to try to keep him under control and keep him on the right track.
Yeah.
Understand also.
Well, that's a really good point, but because the attorney is Todd Blanche, and we actually had him on the show after the verdict came down last Thursday, and I asked him, what kind of sentence does he expect Alvin Bragg to seek here? I want you to listen to what Todd Blanche told me. District Attorney Bragg tonight did not directly say whether or not they are going to seek jail time for Donald Trump. Do you expect that he will?
I have no idea. Look, there's a system in place that where you rely on precedent, and somebody like President Trump should never face a jail sentence based on this conduct. And it would just kind of confirm what we've been saying all along, and a lot of people say that we're wrong and that we're missing we're missing key pieces. But if other 77-year-old first-time offenders would never be sent to prison for this conduct.
Judge, I look at that. I hear what Todd Blanche is saying there, but I also think about, Michael Cohen and Alan Weisselberg. They both faced prison sentences for what happened with them. Do you actually think do you agree with Todd Blanche, basically?
No, I don't. And what is important is what you just said. Michael Cohen was basically convicted of the same crime, although not 34 times. And Michael Cohen was contrite. He was remorseful. He assisted in the presentation of the case by the prosecution, and he got 3 years. So if you have a defendant who did this 34 times and is not remorseful and denigrates the entire system, the process, and the judge, if thinking of a judge in sentencing as, well, wait a minute, even though that was in federal court, I still have to do what I believe is fair looking at this defendant. I also have to really understand this defendant, which means the judge has a right to require a person to undergo a psychological evaluation. And given how unhinged and incoherent Donald Trump has been in speaking publicly, that kind of an evaluation might be merited because, for example, he could be dementing. So these are all the kinds of information that a judge needs to make an informed, a reasonable and objective, as best one can, sentencing in any instance, and particularly in this case.
Yeah, a lot of things for the judge to weigh here. Judge, it was great to have you here tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And here in studio with me,